Namah Shivaya, respected dignitaries, teachers, and my dear friends. I extend my warmest welcome to this evening on behalf of Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, for the webinar session on Visual Language of Advertising by Sri Vinod Lakshman. The Public Relation Council of India's Young Communicators Club, Kochi chapter at Amrita School of Arts and Sciences was officially inaugurated on 3rd of May this year. And this is our third online event and our second webinar session. So let us start the session with a token of gratitude to the Almighty.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Sarvesham swasthir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Now I invite Dr. U. Krishna Kumar, Director, Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, and Dean, Faculty of Arts, Media and Commerce, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, to address the gathering.
Om Amriteshwari Namaha. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Amma, Chancellor of the Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham. And my humble pronouns to all the dignitaries representing the Public Relations Council of India and the Young Communicators Club. My humble pronouns to Dr. T. Vinay Kumar, National President of the PRCA, Sri V.S. Kuti, National Secretary General of PRCA, and the very active Chairman of the PRCA Kerala chapter, Sri Ram C. Menon, and all the other participating colleagues and all the students of the campus. And my most humble pronouns to the guest of honor, Professor K.C. Chitrabhanu, whom I am seeing though online. I'm seeing him for the last, after a long time. Especially his student Vinod is going to do the today. His presence here is very, a senior professor like Suchitra Banu, and my humble pronouns to Vinod. And as the title goes, it's all about visual language of advertising. And advertising is one part of the communication, and the public relations all encompasses the most important aspect of the communication and the visual language of advertising, I feel it's all centered around the three letters, which makes what you call as art. And advertising is nothing but an applied art and a learned faculty and artist and a content writer like Vinod is doing the presentation on visual language of advertising. Definitely, I feel it will be more communicative about his domain area of interest, the applied art. And I hope and pray that the wisdom shared by Vinod will contribute greatly towards the one important aspect of the PRCA, basically the taking the communication to the public and the relationship what the PRCA builds with the public, especially to the young generation on various aspects of art, media, and culture, and the especially the communicative language. It's going to be extremely beneficial, no doubt about it. And I pray and hope that this session will share the wisdom across to all the participants. And let me wish this session to have the grace of Amma. And I request you to take all from me. And we thank Dr. Dinesh Babu also and all the other faculty members of the Department of Visual Media and Communication for having taken the initiative to organize it along with the YCC and especially with the initiative of Sri Ram C. Menon. So thank you very much. I request you to kindly proceed with the rest of the session.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Dr. S. Dinesh Babu, HOD, Department of Visual Media and Communications, Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, to formally welcome the virtual gathering.
Om Amadishwari Namaha. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to our beloved director, Dr. U. Krishna Kumar sir, for his support in each step in the growth of the department. Sri Vinod Lakshman is currently working as an assistant professor, Department of Visual Media and Communication, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, in Kochi campus for the past 10 years. He is a subject expert in Department of Fine Arts, and he is the board member of studies in Amrita Vishwavidyapitham, Mahatma Gandhi University, and University of Kerala. And he is one of the members in IIT Kanpur in the Department of Fine Arts. I welcome Sri Vinod Lakshman sir. Dr. P. Vinay Kumar is a co-founder and senior partner at Guide Advertising and Marketing Associate and serves as a chairman of McNaught Basel Digital Communication. He has done his post-graduation in management, MPhil and PhD in entrepreneurship. He has over 41 years of experience in advertising, public relations, and branding. I welcome Dr. P. Vinay Kumar sir, National President PRCA, on behalf of Amrita School of Arts and Science, Kochi, PRCA YCC local chapter. And Mr. Ram C. Menon is a postgraduate marketing management and marketing communication with a professional exposure to advertising as well as sales and marketing. He is a co-founder of Kerala's first professional event management and wedding planning company, Impresario, in 1995, and he is also a co-founder Impress PR in 2010. I welcome on behalf of Amrita School of Arts and Science, PRCA YCC local chapter, Ramsi Menon sir, Chairman PRCA Kerala chapter. I would like to welcome faculty coordinators, YCC chapter members from other campuses, the participants and our faculty members and students who is participating in this program. I welcome one and all. Thank you for joining here.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to invite Dr. T. Vinay Kumar, National President of Public Relations Council of India. He is also the Director of World Communicators Council and also Vice President and Director of PRCA YCC Governing Council. He has 4 decades of experience in PR and advertising. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate Vinay sir for being anonymously elected as the National President of PRCI for the 2nd time, and also for the successful publishing of his book, The Price, which deals with the dive into possibilities and impact of public relations. Congratulations to you, sir, on behalf of the director, faculties, and all the students of Amrita School of Arts and Sciences. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, as well as congratulating me on my election for the 2nd time, and also for publishing a book on public relations. Dr. Krishna Kumar, Dr. Dinesh Babu, Rekha, faculty coordinator, Sudarsh, president of ICC, and Mr. Chitrabhanu, and all the YCC members, faculty members of other colleges, and the hero of the day, Mr. Vinod Lakshman, the resource person today. As the saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But which takes time to read. They will scan through the matter to pick the relevant information and filter out your advertising messages. Whereas visuals are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than the text and tend to make a long-lasting impression. That is as per the research. A simple example is the Amul advertisements. They are very unique and a visual treat for an ordinary person or a brand, a learned linguistic expert. That was continuing as a display mainly in billboards of important cities for the last 45 years. Every person must have seen Amul advertisements and noticed it. The jokes, the current and contemporary topics they are handling with the support of the visuals. It is a classic example of the power of visuals in the advertising. When you see a design for the first time, it initially registers as a shape, color, picture, or type. But if the design is to work, its magic on the target audience, it must become an idea. Paul Rand, the famous US graphic designer, commented, I have 2 goals. The first is that everything I do as a designer must have an idea. It cannot just look nice. The second is it has to look nice. Without visual beauty, even a good idea will not pass graphic design required. This graphic design requires both ingredients, but the priority is for the idea. This is the comment of this famous graphic designer, Paul Rand. If you refer him in the Google, you will get to know more about him. I don't want to take much of your time because our expert is here today to enlighten us with more about the power of visual in the advertising. I have more than 40 years of experience in advertising. I started my career in 1980 with Efficient Publicities Private Limited, which is the oldest advertising agency in South India, which created the emblem of LIC and got a lot of acclaim and international awards for that. Even now, they are not able to change that emblem of LIC. Just imagine the power of that emblem. All the most of the other emblems created along with that are changed now. So certain creations, certain visual creations will last forever. So with these few words and for giving me an opportunity, thank you for addressing all of you and be with all of you. Thank you very much. I wish the session all the best. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So now it's time to begin the session. I invite Mr. Sudhar Sudhakaran, President, PRCI YCC Chapter, Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, to introduce our guest.
Good evening. Sri Vinod Lakshman is currently working as Assistant Professor, Department of Visual Media and Communication, Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, for the past 10 years. He is a subject expert in the Department of Fine Arts, IIT Kanpur, and a board member of studies at Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Mahatma Gandhi University, and the University of Kerala. Being a native of Chittoor, Palakkad, he was born in Coimbatore, brought up and settled in Ernakulam. His areas of interest are in art history, Indian and Western, symbology, design theories, etc. He has secured UGC NET in visual arts and was first rank holder in MFA. He is also well versed in many areas as he is an artist, painter, creative consultant, design architect, and content writer. His previous work experiences include him working as art director with Slyler Media Techniques Private Limited, center manager with Killick Challenger Technologies Limited, and as freelance multimedia CD-ROM authoring service provider from 1997 to 2002, before switching over to teaching applied art. He has also worked as guest lecturer at RLB College of Music and Fine Arts, and also as assistant professor at Essex School of Communication. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sudarshan. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Before I begin, I seek the blessings of our Amma, and then I would like to thank Krishna Kumar sir for the kind words and words of encouragement. All the members of the Public Relations Council of India and Young Communicators Club. My own professor, Chitrabhanu sir, is present. I just sent him the link today, and so kind of you, sir, to join. And I learned from you the basics of visual language back in 1992 when I was a first year BFA student. I still cherish those memories. And I'm a little nervous in front of Vinay sir, Dr. Vinay Kumar. Such a stalwart in the field of advertising. And yes, definitely, I have my own share of nervousness. Nevertheless, my area is going to be completely on the art side of advertising, how visuals communicate. And before I start sharing the visuals, what is advertising? So it is said that the classic definition of communication is when A tells something to B, it is communication. When A sells something to B, that becomes marketing. So when A tells something to B and B takes action according to what is being said, then that is the language of advertising, which means it is the persuasion. The language of advertising is the language of persuasion. How many times we would have fallen for advertisements? I'm purposefully using that word. we would have come across some products, some things like can be very simple things like toothpaste or hair oil or shampoo or whatever. And then we feel so compelled. We feel so compelled that we want to buy it. Sometimes we go and buy it even before the product is not over in our whatever is there with us. So that is the power of advertising. And I remember in my MFA class, all my classmates started discussing about movies. And this particular movie, somebody made a comment that he couldn't understand anything in the movie Matrix. Matrix was being discussed at that time. So that became an interesting topic, and I started explaining certain things that I understood from that movie. And somehow it became so persuasive that the listeners in the classroom, they said, yeah, definitely I want to watch this movie once again. Then I felt happy. So that is actually the language. It is nothing but language. Language in both ways. There are two types of language used in advertising. One is the visual language, and the other is the written and spoken language. Written language separately, if we can say, written language in the form of alphabets, letters, and all that, and the spoken language, which is auditory, we hear. So advertising and visual communication, or you can say the applied art, the area of applied art is actually the place where all these three things come together, meld together to create new meanings, to create persuasion, and to deliver the message in the strongest possible way. As Dr. Vinay said, the power of it is very powerful. That is, when you just glance through an advertisement, it requires a little bit of linguistic skill to understand what is written and what is told, what is heard. But visual language works faster in the brain. A picture speaks 1,000 words. And when words are constructed to give a new meaning according to the message that we want to deliver, then I think it is not just 1,000 words, it gives something like 10,000 words or even more. So that is the area of my talk right now. So I think I'll start sharing the slides. Somebody, could you please tell me if it is clear and if I am able to, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is introductory. Language, it is a main means of communication. Written language is visual, symbolic. A symbolic sign is there, goes by convention. That is, we all know that when it is a red light on the road, we have to stop. So that is a convention. That doesn't have a direct meaning. That is, the red light doesn't have a direct meaning with the message stop. It is by convention. It is man-made. Like that, there are three types of signs that which we all learn in the basics of semiotics. That is three types of signs. What do you call symbolic and iconic and indexical. We'll come to that. So first of all, one thing we should understand is in written and spoken language, something is very important. That is a syntax. Syntax is the order of placing letters and words to make a meaning. Otherwise, it becomes meaningless. So that is the reason why written and spoken language becomes very difficult to understand. So syntax can be easily understood in a very simple, humorous, light-hearted manner, which I tell most of the times. And that is when we take bath. Okay, when we come out of the shower and we are dressing up for a board meeting, or you could be dressing up for a party, or you could be just dressing up to relax in the comforts of your house, or you could be dressing up to go to a place of worship, whatever is the idea. So soon after coming out of the shower, we have an order of wearing the dress. What dress goes in first? What dress comes the next? What dress comes the later? So that is exactly what is syntax. So only that makes sense. What happens if the dressing becomes totally different? So we all know, we all have made fun of this character, Superman, who has all jumbled up syntax in dressing. And then I found another interesting syntax problem of dressing. And this is also another symbolic or no, another syntax problem, the way how you wear it. So it makes sense only in the right syntax. So what I'm trying to convey is that visual language is the language that doesn't actually require a syntax, but it has its own syntax, but it can have a self-explanatory meaning. And there are three types of like three ways in which we can understand visuals. One is symbolic, as I said, it goes by convention. That is, when we see a red light, we stop. Then when we see the symbols on the roadside, like no U-turn and all those things, we understand that it should be followed. Then there is a type of sign called iconic, which is actually can be referred to or can be understood by looking at the icons in our smartphones and desktop computers and all that. We have a recycle bin. The image of a recycle bin reminds us of the real recycle bin we use for putting the trash. So it does the same function there, but it resembles. So when there is a resemblance of what we try to say and what is intended, it becomes iconic. And the relationship is called iconicity. And there is another thing that is little indirect. And that is, when you see a smoke, you understand that there is fire. When you see the footprints on the sand, you understand that somebody has come to that place or gone from that place. So those kind of things which do not tell us directly about the meaning, it directs us, it indirectly indicates what it is. So that is indexical. So, and with what you call, this is the syntax of the visual language. And visual language has got another power, and that is mixing up of visuals. You combine visuals to create new meanings. Visuals can have individual meanings. To go by the theory of E.H. Gombrich, he has used the word iconology, differing from iconography. Iconology can be used in modern terms. It is the breaking down of images that you see in a photograph or a movie or a scene, and breaking down and deciphering its meaning, and then combining all the visuals together and find out a new meaning. What is the meaning that comes by mixing all the images? So this is the language of advertising, and advertising being the most persuasive means of communication, because it has to sell the products, or it has to deliver its promise, and it has to attract attention. It has to go into the minds of thousands and thousands or lakhs of people in just one glance, or in the smallest possible time. So that requires a lot of planning, a lot of subtle what you call mixing up of images, which produces not only the dictionary meaning of it, but also the subtle meaning, the cultural meaning, and so many deeper meanings may be conveyed. So a picture can be interpreted in so many different ways, and this is what I endeavor to do for the next few minutes. So the elements of visual language. What are the elements of visual language? Written language depends on alphabets, we all know. Spoken language depends on sounds of words and sound forms and music. And as the semiotician Roland Barthes has said, the sound image. Sound can be imagined or can be interpreted as an image also. So visual language uses dots, lines, shapes, forms, light, color, shade, and so many other things. So many new alphabets are being added to visual language as technology grows. We shall cover all those areas. And visual language basically starts from dot, and dot is what? Dot is a very abstract kind of thing. It starts, it is a one-dimensional starting point of everything. So in the Indian philosophy also, a lot of importance is given to the power center, or what is known as the bindu, the dot. And next comes a line. Line is line can be in Euclidean
Excuse me, sir. Your voice is, you are not audible.
Voice has gone.
Yeah, yes. Okay, sir. Now it's clear.
So, and Euclidean geometry says that line is something that has infinite length and doesn't have a thickness. That's a very abstract concept. However, you zoom, the line doesn't have a thickness, and it is a two-dimensional thing. And and there is another great definition which I personally like, is from the German expressionist artist, that is Paul Klee. Paul Klee has given a beautiful definition. He is a Swiss-born German expressionist artist. He defined line as a line is a dot that went for a walk. Can anything be more simple than that? So a line is something that is free-flowing. It originates from a dot. It is like a dot that has its own mind and going for a walk. So here is an indication of Paul Klee's idea. Dots in the form of lines, dots giving to our mind the impression of line with the help of Gestalt psychology, and we have the curves. So the lines, curves, dots, all those things give us an idea, or give us a kind of language, or gives us the communication. That is, here you can see a starting point and the destination and the flight and all that. So it gives us a very clear picture of how it is. And now how image constructions happen. At the left side, you can see I have purposefully taken the childish drawing, a simple drawing, a very childlike drawing. And in the first image, you can see it is only outline. It doesn't communicate much. It communicates only the shape of a house. It can be all together shape of a house and clouds. That's all you can see. In the second image, visual language gets little more explicit. That is, colors are added. So colors are again another alphabet in the visual language. So colors also speak for themselves. Colors add to the meaning, and colors add to the image construction. So here colors came, and in the third image also you see colors. So the difference between the first image and the second image is that this is day and this is night, and it is indicated by the color combination. So color, being a visual language, gives us the idea that it is day, it is night, and it talks so many other things, which I will cover in the later slides. And horizontal lines, and lines also, the way lines are composed, horizontal, vertical, and in advertising and visual communication, you can see a lot of horizontal representation of composition. Horizontal actually indicates speed and dynamic nature. Whenever you want to explain something in a fast way, or something that indicates dynamism, horizontal composition is horizontal, or sometimes a diagonal composition is used. And here, this is an advertisement for British Airways. And British Airways, they have used the idea or the visual language of the line and curve so beautifully in this ad. And you can see, I don't know whether it is readable. It says London to Singapore in the eyes. One end of the eye is London, and the other end of the eye is Singapore. So what does this actually say? By just showing one eye and a closed eye, and they want to indicate that this is the comfort. There are so many ways of interpretation. One way is that closing the eye indicates sleep, and so you can sleep. So that comfortable is the journey. Another interpretation is that a wink of an eye, closing and just opening. So one moment is captured here. The wink of an eye, probably from London to Singapore you may reach, or probably in one sleep you may cover that much distance. So they have used this idea of comfort and efficiency of their service and the performance of their service in a beautiful visual language. And so it indicates comfort, performance of service, and it is minimalistic also. Minimalism is actually, minimalism originated as an art movement, which came as a reaction against abstract expressionism and all that. So to take away the complications associated with modern art. And so very soon minimalism went into designing, and from designing it has gone into so many different ways. So this is the ad for British Airways. Next slide is not coming. Yeah. So this is another one. This shows the energy, that is the fuel switch over to electric cars. So this is a car. This is an Audi advertisement, and they have very effectively used the fuel meter and the curve, the visual language of the curve and the indicator as a dry leaf, and which indicates which tells us the use of fossil fuels and how it is high time to switch over to alternate means of energy. Here it is actually not horizontal, it is diagonal actually, and this indicates dynamism. And here you can see people in action, 3 people in action, and this is a humorous ad, and 2 of them sharpshooters. Their body language speaks like sharpshooters, and they are somewhere in the open wild. And here is a little guy who doesn't look like a sharpshooter in any way. He is successful. The others are only aiming, whereas this guy got the bird. And how did he get it? This is the advertisement for a vacuum cleaner. So the vacuum cleaner actually, they want to tell through this visual language that the vacuum cleaner is so powerful. So it is like exaggeration. And exaggeration in visual language terms can be taken as it can be aesthetically understood, and it can also be understood as a visual metaphor. So yeah, this is another such thing that is a diagonal composition, and this is a very heart-wrenching kind of advertisement. It shows it shows the top of a bus that says "Don't jump." So the brand is careerbuilders.com. So they want to say that we have a career for everyone. We build your career. Just rely on us. Don't give up. So don't jump. What a powerful presentation this is. What a powerful photograph this is, and what a powerful way they have incorporated a very ordinary looking traffic photo from up above, and how they have incorporated meaning by adding the text. Now we come to the visual language of light and shade. So there are certain things that are self-illuminating, or the sources of light or sources of illumination. Those things appear as flat. As you can see on this side, the bulb, and you cannot see a shadow. You cannot see the bulb is spherical. Whereas the same effect you get when you cover the light when it is called a silhouette. A silhouette it is black in color. A silhouette cuts the light. It's full of shadows, and you feel that it is flat. So when it is too bright and when it is too dark, it gives the same effect of flatness. Very recently, this image became so viral, and probably the word associated with this image was mysterious. Why is this outfit considered mysterious? Because it is absorbing all lights, and black is a color. Black is not actually a color, but for linguistic convenience, I am using the word color for black. And black is something that absorbs all light, and white is something that reflects all light. So in this case, this outfit is so black, and even her body, that is a hand and face and neck, everything is painted black, and you cannot see much. It's like a silhouette, a walking silhouette. And I don't know who got this idea and all that. I don't know the name of this model also. And but this photo became viral for this particular reason, that it could evoke a sense of mysteriousness. What is this? Something mysterious, especially as mysterious as in Stephen Hawking's language, a black hole. That is a hole where the light goes in but doesn't come out. So that is mystery. And this is a perfect, what is known as chiaroscuro, and that is the balance of light and shade, which gives us the idea of volume. Where the idea of volume itself is a very powerful visual language which can be communicated in so many ways. And it is even now we copy the ideals of the chiaroscuro concept that was developed during the Renaissance art. And even the photographers of the present day, they follow the same lighting pattern. They follow the same ideas of chiaroscuro to make their images speak, to make their images powerful and to give the message. So this is a beautiful light and shade advertisement, and this is purposefully done in black and white. And you can see Dalai Lama here, and the caption actually says, the caption is not visible in this, it says that be the second one to know. This is actually a telecommunication network advertisement. This is some brand of telecommunication network, and they say that you will be the second one to know. First one to know is, of course, this person who is standing just next to Dalai Lama. And be the second one to know is the headline. That there is only a headline that goes with this. And there is also one more in the same series, and that is this. Obama is sitting there in a very intriguing expression, and something very serious is going on. And this elderly gentleman, you can see all folds on his forehead, and that is also a visual language that indicates tension, worry, and something that is of grave importance. And you can also see the frown on Obama's face. He's not at his ease, or he's not relaxing. He is tense. And this visual language cannot be better communicated through a color photo, perhaps. And another thing with black and white is that black and white itself is a message. Black and white itself has got the visual language of archival quality, something that goes, or something that makes history. Whenever you see a black and white image, the first thing that comes to the mind is history or historic. So they wanted to make this particular the visual so historic, or the message of the telecommunication brand, that you will be the second one to know. And the first person is, of course, you cannot claim, the company cannot claim that they will be the first one to know. You will be the second one to know. And this is another advertisement for internet superhighway. This is a very old advertisement when when broadband actually came into the scene, sometime in 2005, 2006 time. And that is when the broadband actually came into the scene. And you can see a person with glasses staring at the screen, and the light coming from the screen is beautifully projected on his face. And this resembles the face of a rider, of a bike rider. In the cold of the night, he's driving and attracting all sorts of insects on his face while he is moving. So the idea of superhighway is very clearly and very subtly indicated in this image. So they have brought in this dual what do you call, interpretation possibility of this visual, that is internet superhighway, by showing the what do you call, the edge of the laptop, and his staring expression, and the insects that have hit on his face, and his glasses. Everything resembles the plight of a rider at night on a superhighway at very high speed. And this is a advertisement for a brand of beer. And how nice, again, the historicity is being recreated here. And this we all know is the Colosseum, the Roman Colosseum, where the gladiators used to fight during the Roman Empire time. And the gladiators, and the headline says history is made in Rome. And you can see the beer bottles arranged in the form of Colosseum, indicating that it is a historic beer, or they want to bring about a kind of classiness, and bring about a kind of trust that is associated with historical monuments or something like that. So they want to project their brand as a historic brand, and also their brand as something that is closely associated with the Roman scheme of things. And you can see how beautifully they have used light. And there is darkness everywhere outside, and there is light coming from inside, indicating some action that is taking place inside the Colosseum. This is a view from outside. And this is a beautiful advertisement of Sanyo underwater camera, and how they have used the idea of an iceberg without showing an iceberg, by typography. So ice is small and berg is big, and that is exactly what icebergs are. You will see more of the ice in the bottom, that is underwater. So it says that see what's under the sea. And this visual language also tells us that there is more to see underwater than what is on top. So there are more things underwater that you should photograph, that you can photograph, than which is available on top. So it gives out that meaning also. So again, the play of words, the play of interpretation, dual interpretation. And now we come to the visual language of the colors. And here I just thought of introducing the basic fundamentals of color theory. And we have primary colors. Primary colors are colors that cannot be obtained by mixing any colors. They are fundamental, and they are yellow, blue, and red. And when two primary colors are mixed, they become secondary colors. Secondary colors, you have green, orange, and violet. And the complementary colors are otherwise known as opposite colors that lie opposite. I don't know whether you are able to see the mouse. Can you see the mouse? Can anyone give me a feedback?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here is blue, and what is exactly opposite blue is orange, and here it is red. Exactly what is opposite to red is green, and yellow. Exactly what is opposite to yellow is violet. So, and again, you have these opposite colors are called complementary colors, and the colors on the sides are called analogous colors or harmonious colors. And again, we have a scheme called yellow, red. The red to yellow, the transition from red to yellow is generally referred to as warm colors, and the greens and blues are referred to as the cool colors. And visual language or advertising actually uses a lot of visual language of colors, and the way colors are combined together, and the way the combination brings out meanings. So complementary colors, analogous, warm colors. Warm colors are also called happy colors. Cool colors are sad colors. This is the language the applied art actually uses. That happiness and sadness can be indicated so clearly and powerfully through colors. Here you can see the complementary color design. This is a design for Heinz ketchup, that is tomato ketchup. They want to tell you that they use actual tomatoes, not just flavors. So they want to reiterate the fact that they use actual tomatoes, and you have nothing else other than tomatoes. So no one grows ketchup like Heinz. And they show that it is like a top view of a tomato, and instead of showing a tomato, they have shown the bottom of the bottle, the bottom design of the bottle with ketchup inside. So actual tomato color, and the green, the stem on top. So again, you can see the combination. Why is red appearing so red to us is because of the presence of green. And the complementary colors are called opposite colors because it complements each other. And though it is not opposite, actually, it is actually complementing each other. Red complements green, and yellow complements violet, like that. And you can see another advertisement of Heinz ketchup. And here you can see slices of tomatoes arranged together in the form of a bottle. So they just want to convey very clearly through this visual language that our ketchup contains only tomatoes, nothing else. And it is a tomato ketchup, and tomato ketchups, you should find only tomatoes. So slices of tomatoes arranged in the shape of a bottle, yet giving you the idea that they are slices, and gives you, this is actually again two images or two ideas brought together to convey a very strong meaning. This is the logo of Mountain Dew. Again, they have used the opposite color scheme. The mountain is written in green and dew is in red. And complementary color, there is one more thing, that is the green. The greenness of the green color is most expressed in the presence of red, and the redness is most expressed, or the purity of red is expressed only when there is a hint of green somewhere in the vicinity. So that is what complementary color theme is about. And this is near complementary. They're not exactly complementary. This is violet and orange, and orange that is going towards the yellow. So that is a famous logo of FedEx. And here you can see this particular advertisement. A happy face is being indicated with food items, and Bell is a brand name, and the placement of logo, and also a small green leaf in the at the bottom of the logo, which actually enhances the redness of all the reds that is available on this screen. And now we go into the color psychology, the sad colors and the what do you call it, sad colors and the happy colors. The family of blues, greens, and grays are generally sad colors. You can see a very sad kind of image. It is like giving out the idea of feeling blue. The word blue is associated with sadness. So when you are feeling blue, is a commonly used phrase in English, and this particular phrase is present everywhere in popular culture, especially in pop music. You find so many lyrics having this idea of feeling blue, and this blueness is definitely a sad color. And this is actually a mixture of gray and green, again indicating sadness. And here again, feeling blue, sadness, loneliness, all those things associated with this elderly gentleman walking alone. You can see the idea or the visual representation of aloneness in this. There is not another person in the scene, which is actually the state of his own being, the state of his own mind. There is nobody in the scene, and it is all blue. And this is not a natural scene. We cannot see any at any year or in any part of the country this blue. But this is created. This is purposefully done. This blue is added to give out this meaning. So they have used the powerful visual language of colors to communicate or enhance the idea of loneliness by mixing the image of this elderly gentleman and the lonely streets and the blue hazy kind of atmosphere. And we come to happy colors. Happiness is always represented with red, orange, yellows. Red, orange, yellows always indicate happiness, and definitely yellow is a very, very happy color. So you cannot represent anything that is happy without or avoiding yellow. So yellows and oranges and reds will be there when you want to represent something that is very happy. And you can see another happiness or happy kind of visual. This is an advertisement illustration, and a kind of Mexican singing a folk song with a guitar, and you can see all warm colors in this. And yellows and oranges and reds, they are called warm colors, and you can see the dominance of warm color giving out the idea of happiness in this picture. Here again we come to the happiness or festivity, or Indian festival of Holi, where it is the festival of happiness and colors, and the predominant colors are the happy colors, yellows, and though Holi uses all the even shades of other greens and all that, but when we want to represent the image, when we want to represent Holi as an image, this is how this is the best way to do it. And there is another thing in visual language that is more complex, that is a figure-ground relationship. So as I said earlier, an individual image gives out a meaning, and the background gives out another meaning, and together they give out a new meaning. So here is an individual, and this was edited to me by my good friend and colleague Sri Vinod NK, who removed the background, who did this for me, this slide. There was some amount of graphic design technicality involved. So here is an individual bending forward. This is a view from backside. Okay, you can see that his head is not visible because he is bending and looking down or something like that. So that is the meaning that comes from this image, right? And there is the white background doesn't communicate much. And that is the background is white and the image, and that is the ground is white and the figure is this person bending. How about this? This is the advertisement for Lenovo. And now how meaning is actually made. So the background and the foreground coming together to give out the meaning of the message of the advertisement with the help of a written language. That is, the written language just says password. And a field that we are all familiar with, the password field where we type in the password. So this man is actually peeping inside as if telling the computer in its ears, or telling or whispering into the ears of the computer the password. So that is the idea that comes from this image, and this is so beautifully done. And this is the idea of Lenovo's internet security. That is the idea they wanted to communicate, the password. And here also you can see the combination, complementary color tone. The background and this lady is blurred, and there again I will come to that again in some other place. That is the visual language of blur, how we use blurs. And there was a time when we used to discard photographs that were blurred. I remember as a child when I used to take photos from a small point and shoot camera, and at least we could take only some 36 images if we were experts. Otherwise you get only something like if you are lucky, you'll get 30 images proper. And out of this 30 images, you will get about 25 images as proper images. About 5 images will go as blurred images. We discard those photographs. So later on, how visual language got an addition, that is a new alphabet, a new word came into the visual language. That is the visual language of blurs. Here, it is blurred. Why? Because the designer wanted you to focus on her fingers. Okay, and there is the caption going on. That is a tagline of KFC is there, and they are not even showing KFC properly. The tagline is faintly there, visible. It's finger licking good, and you can see the actual result of the finger licking process. And the what do you call the Mehendi design. I think Mehendi is not only Indian; it is there in all the Southeast Asian countries, and this Mehendi design has disappeared from her fingers, probably because the food that she has eaten is so finger licking good. Here is another one in the series. Again, the use of complementary colors. There you can see the orange and the blue. And again, you can see the background giving out the information that this person is a mechanic, and his hand is full of grease, except for those 2 fingers, probably with which he had just taken the KFC, the chicken. So again, you can see the tagline. KFC is very faintly visible, and the tagline finger licking good, and which is directly in proximity with the focus that we want to see, that is the fingers. And here, the building of images, that is image within an image. How superimposing of image actually adds to the visual language. This is another visual language. Here, the idea is of the best salt. The brand is salt. And they want to tell you it is marine, it is natural. So only marine salt is natural. So how to communicate the idea of marineness in one image? So they want to show the ordinary dining table view where a hand is holding the salt dispenser, and in the background, in the blurred manner, you can see something that tells us that it is a house, some pot-like decoration object in the background, and inside you can see the marine colors. And the marine colors, you can see the blue is slightly added, enhanced, and it is made to contrast with the orange of the background. Again, you see the complementary colors coming into play. That is blue and orange. So blue is enhancing orange, and orange is enhancing this blue. Probably we are seeing this sea as so blue because of the presence of orange in the background. Again, a visual language, a mixing of visual language. There is a mixture of blur, the usage of blur, complementary colors, and also the new visual language of image within an image. This is another example of an image within an image. And this is, they want to tell you that the toilet they want to tell you how neat that toilet is, how beautiful that toilet is. I remember an old advertisement when I was a student. There was an old advertisement that was an advertisement of toilet fittings, the closet and the wash basin and taps and all those things. And they said that your bathroom is no more a bathroom. It can be called as a glamour room. I forgot which brand it is. And they started calling it the glamour room. So bathrooms are glamour rooms. If we look at it in another way, it is so true how much money is spent on the decoration of bathrooms. And here they want to tell you the idea, the product is actually a paper, the toilet paper. We all know during the COVID times, this was a big sensational news that made headlines in almost all newspapers of the world, the shortage of toilet papers. And the paper makes the toilet. It seems that to keep the toilet neat and clean and tidy and beautiful, the most important thing is the little thing or the less important thing called the toilet paper. And here they want to contrast it with the violetish tone, the bluish violetish tone with the yellows and the yellow ochre color of the background and the muddy pool, and it gives you all a kind of muddy earthen under construction kind of idea, and contrasting it with a beautiful bathroom, all with a chandelier. There is also very expensive chandelier inside the bathroom. I don't know how many people keep a expensive chandelier inside a bathroom, but they have done it probably to give the idea of a luxury and classiness. Yeah, this is another image. This is a very powerful public awareness poster. This is they have used the language of image within an image again, and this is overlaying technique. Overlaying, that is, rise up your hand, step up, and you can make a difference. That is, it is said that when you are, it says, if you witness inappropriate behavior, speak up. Stop sexual assault. For more information, visit sapr.mil. So whenever you see misbehavior or some kind of sexual assault, you have to speak up. So the first instance of speaking up is putting up the hand, raising the hand, and then you speak. So that raise the hand along with a very sad kind of expression, but a very resolute kind of expression. Somebody has mustered the courage to speak up. A young face has mustered the courage to actually speak up, and that is the superimposed image giving us a very powerful message. Yeah, here again we come to the juxtaposition. That is another visual language. Juxtaposition is actually bringing together two images, and it is actually very interesting how these how they created a kind of hybrid images or hybrid forms. That is, it is actually the brand Faber-Castell, and they were celebrating their introduction of new colors. You know, Faber-Castell, they are the inventors of the pencil. Faber-Castell is the first brand of pencils, and they invented the pencil. That is, Ludwig von Faber-Castell is the person who actually invented pencil, in the sense he invented the technique of what he called encasing the lead, soft lead, graphite lead with wood. That is what he invented, and that became pencils later on. Even now we see pencils with wooden encasement, wood outside and lead inside. And they were launching a series of artist colors, that is water soluble color pencils, and they wanted to communicate that it is so true to nature. So True Color campaign. So this campaign is called True Colors, and this is one such image. They came up with so many images actually. Yeah. So these are some of the images that Faber-Castell came up with the same idea of juxtaposition of two images, creating a kind of hybrid form. Here you can see the redness of a fire engine, and the gray of a whale, and the brown of a dog, and the of a what you call brinjal, that is the violet color. So true to nature. Here again, the image that juxtaposition to give out a new meaning. This is actually the image, the advertisement for Samsung home theaters. In the corner, in the little space, you can see the aeroplane on the screen, that is TV screen with a few speakers in the vertical position. And this tells you, this is what you feel when you sit with the home theater sound system. So it gives you the actual sound, as if the three-dimensional surround sound feel you will get from Samsung home theater systems. And here is another one in the series, the music. So again, the image in the little corner is the image of a concert. So you get concert level quality in this music system, that is home theater system, with all the 3D surround system and all that. So they have juxtaposed the images, 2 or 3 images, putting together. The use of color theory is there, the complementary colors are used. That is why we see this yellow as so bright. And yes, so they have used all those visual language to communicate the idea of surround sound system. And that is the seat where you sit. And this is again juxtaposition of images on symbols to create combined meaning. We all know that new symbols are coming up with the coming of technology, and probably after Google Maps came in, we are very familiar with this location symbol. And they want to tell you that place your business on the map. We will help you to do that. This is an internet service provider that tells you that if you, they are the what you call social media or internet advertising company that tells you that, okay, we'll bring presence to your business. So put your business on the map. So we will help you do that. So putting something on the map is now associated with this symbol. And they have used very effectively this symbol. And the idea is a cafe. So somebody wants to advertise a small cafe, a hotel, by putting it in the internet, so that when you browse and you can see it. Again, the same symbol is used in another way. That is something very similar to Zomato and Swiggy and all that. You put your hotel business and all those things in the net. So follow the true taste. The world's first pizza with tracking code. That is the subheadline reads that way. The world's first pizza with tracking code. This is another juxtaposition of iconic images. That is the image of a flower, very natural color. The idea that the brand is the brand of dye, that is fabric dye. So they want to tell you that our dye, our colors are so natural and so natural that it will be there for a very long time. Again, another one, I'm not taking much time. It is very easy to understand. Strawberry flavored ice cream. And this is juxtaposition of image on iconic images. That is Land Rover's 5 surround camera. Land Rover has got 5 cameras surrounding it to see all the things surrounding the vehicle. So they have put it in the form of an eye. So an eye that sees all the things around. So they have, this is the use of actually visual metaphor. And here again, the language of metaphor, we all know metaphors speak more in a more powerful manner. Just like saying that he was a lion in the battlefield, it is actually bringing the idea of lion, the bravery of lion, the attitude of lion, and replacing it with the attitude of the person who deserves that kind of a compliment. And here is the use of visual metaphor. The idea is to tell that the nail, how the nail is so hard when you push a nail inside the wall and how it stays there. They want to tell you that this brand of this cellophane tape is so strong. So the idea of strength comes in, and words are not used there. And this is actually an organization that teaches you Italian, that teaches you foreign languages. So this advertisement is, the headline reads, Italian for beginners. So here they have used a metaphor. The Italianness is brought about by this monument, that is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the metaphor of beginning, that is, it is in the construction stages. So the beginning stages of this monument. Again, the beginning stages of the Eiffel Tower, and which says the French for beginners. Again, the idea of French language, the French culture, the French or anything, the French connection. So this is so iconic. The Eiffel Tower image is so iconic, and when they do it in the form of that it is being constructed, it clearly gives out the meaning. It is for the beginners. Again, English for beginners. Okay, here you can see the London Bridge, and again metaphor for England, metaphor for beginning. And here it is smoothness. Smoothness is represented with a gold nib. A fountain pen, nothing is as smooth as a fountain pen with a gold nib. And so they want to, the idea is actually to sell Mercedes-Benz. So they want to tell that Mercedes-Benz is a very smooth car. So they have used the idea of a gold nib to say that Mercedes-Benz is so smooth. And this is a very famous advertisement of Levi's jeans that says no two pairs are the same. They have used the metaphor of fingerprint to say that to represent uniqueness. So uniqueness is represented this way, and it is a typographical illustration that says no two pairs are the same. So many things are brought together in a very simplistic design and gives out a very, very powerful message. And what is this? This is a metaphor for strong. So it simply means strong coffee. So the metaphor of strength is actually, they have done it in a very creative way by showing the broken or shattered glass that actually contains the coffee. So these are not realistic, but these are communicated. This is how meanings are made in visuals. So some people can argue that this is so unrealistic, but realism is not intended here. The meaning making is what we have to see. And that is what our subconscious mind actually sees. Probably our logical mind sometimes go into the realism of it, but the subconscious mind understands the message. And this is a powerful poster that I found against the cyber crime. And the iconic image of Osama bin Laden and the green color of the printed circuit board and the design of the circuit board, indicating that it has got something to do with electronics and computers. And when I prepared the slide, the caption, the logo got cut off. It simply says that speak up against or prevent cybercrime. So this is a poster that gives awareness about cybercrime and how to prevent it and how to report it and all that. And this is a metaphor of size and capacity. This shows size and capacity of that vehicle by showing juxtaposing the image of a dragon, a dinosaur with so many boxes, and it says that is the capacity of that cargo vehicle. This is the image of distortion. And previously, as I said, the visual language of blurring, how we used to discard blur photograph in the earlier times, and now how it is a visual language now. Similarly, distorted images are now visual language. We can use it as very powerful visuals to give out very good meaning and powerful meaning. And here it says everybody can look evil, and it is actually a news advertisement for a news channel or something like that. Find out the whole story. That is the tagline reads that way. And this is again distortion. This says that your business just got easier. That is less complicated. With just 2 or 3 keys, it has become so less complicated. In a chessboard with all the chess coins and all that, by just 2 coins and 4 squares, they have brought out the idea that business got easier. Again, the idea of jump, I don't want to there. Here, the visual language of blur is used to indicate speed. This is an advertisement for Mercedes-Benz. And the idea of visual language of absence. And interestingly, in the Indian philosophical tradition, there is a tradition called Vaisheshika. And Vaisheshika tradition, there is a deep discourse on 4 types of absence. I don't want to go into those, but I just want to tell you how absence has become a visual language. The idea is the great train robbery, Monday night at 7:30. So this is going to be a documentary film on a great train robbery. And here, the absence of train is the visual language. They have shown the absence of train by this image. All the other things are there. So our mind imagines the train which is not there. And this absence is exactly what they want to convey. This is another great ad. This is the ad for wheat. Wheat is the world's what do you call, the biggest brand in hair removers. And the indication of hair fall problem can be seen on a soap. In every bathroom, you will see at least one strand of hair. And here they are showing the idea of a white soap without any hair. And no hair is better. That is the tagline says no hair is better. The brand is wheat. How the absence of something is actually made into a visual language. Now I have exceeded the time, I think so. Can anyone tell me what this visual language is? This is actually the advertisement for a Sony camera. That much clue I can give. If you want, you can type it in the chat section also. Yeah, so with that, I come to the conclusion of my presentation. If there is time, probably we can have an interactive session. I don't know if there is time.
So thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a fruitful session. So now the session is open for interaction. Those who wish to ask questions may please use the hand raise option in Teams.
Can I speak, Mr. Vinod?
Definitely, sir.
It was a wonderful, presentation. I am proud of you, I should say so, because you have brought in all branches of visual language. What Rudolf Arnhind used to say, that is visual thinking. This process was there in your presentation. It was seen throughout.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much indeed.
Because I have rarely seen people, students in applied art with aptitude for learning more than what they are supposed to do. So it is not a mechanical or skill development work. You should open your eyes. You should open your brain. You should motivate. You should start thinking. And you have always shown aptitude or with a ready mind to know about aesthetics, to know about psychology. So everything was there reflected in your lecture. Because you cannot, no, I am telling you, the Indian aesthetics, you brought in that also. Indian aesthetics, philosophy, I mean, Roland Barthes, all. So there's no ceiling at all. That one art, every artist should realize. Unfortunately, it is not happening in our art colleges. So you might have observed it in applied art when they have to just learn the skill and come out with a degree and get a job. It is not so. So one doesn't allow oneself to grow. And you have always been very inquisitive, and may God bless you.
Thank you, sir. I am still a little child sitting in your class with so much curiosity and awe. I used to sit in your class, sir, and say I'm the same person still. Thank you.
And thank Kushamar sir for providing me this opportunity to be there. And thanks to know that you still remember me.
Thank you so much, sir. Any more questions?
Nobody gave me the interpretation of the last image. Somebody has put up the hand.
Shivadatta.
Yes.
Yes, Shivadatta.
Namaskar, sir. Sir, the session was really insightful, sir. So I had one question for someone who is a beginner in this field of advertising. What would you like? What would be the tips that you give to a person who is just starting in this area?
Yeah, very nice question, Shivadatta. Thank you for that. That is exactly what Chitrabhanu sir right now said. That is, keep your eyes and mind and ears open. Observe everything. I still remember, which I use as a quote as something that came from Chitrabhanu sir when I was in his class. He says that the world is your laboratory. So you go and see the world, observe the world, see everything around you with an open mind, see, be very observant and analyze it, what you call, think about it, and you become a good applied artist or someone who can deal with visual language and advertising.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
Let me add you one thing, Mr.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sir.
No, it's not applied art. You are applying art or skill.
Yes.
And thought.
Yes.
Into a, so the very term applied art itself is not correct. That is what I believe. They're not only creative artists.
Yeah.
So you are using your own medium, your own images.
Yes.
Any technology in the present context, and you are presenting it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Vinod sir, actually, Harishnan sir shared a idea on the last slide in the chat box. Could you please see that?
I need to see. Yes, that is right. That is showing a mythical image which is actually absent. Sony has used the absence to show that even something that is absent can be visible by showing the Loch Ness monster. So we are all familiar with the legend of the Loch Ness monster, and there are rumors that some people have cited it, and there are rumors that some people have seen it, and rumors that some people have heard about it, but it still remains a mythological thing somewhere deep in the sea. And Sony has used that legend to say that everything becomes clear. Our camera will capture even something that is absent. So the visual language of absence is brought in a reversed manner by Sony.
Yeah, sir, actually, I have one doubt. It's not a doubt. Can you please explain those to our students and others? How would we choose the best media to promote our advertisements? Or
Yes. See, now we have come to a technological point in time that advertisements have become, or visual communication have become transmedia. That is something that is that transgress all the boundaries. The boundaries of media are almost extinct now in terms of visual communication, and amazingly, technology has come to that level. When I search for a watch in Amazon site, and then I decide the watch is too expensive, I'm not going to buy, I close it. I log out of Amazon account, and probably 2 days later, when I open my Facebook, I can see the same watch. Facebook is showing me the same watch. How did this happen? So I look for the watch in the Amazon site, and now Facebook is showing me this particular watch where I actually stop. And it is reminding me that this is where you stopped your search. Please look further. So media has become so the demarcation or the boundaries of media have become so thin or non-existent in the new technological age. That is what I can say. So every ad, so a print ad can be used as a social media ad. The same can be used as a hoarding. The same can be used in television. So it is becoming a kind of transmedia thing. This was actually experimented in India long ago. That is the poster of Your Country Needs You. That's a very historical poster. One of the most powerful posters in the history of posters. And that poster was used as a magazine advertisement in to promote Indian Army in India. So this was done long ago. Thank you.
I think Sarita ma'am raised her hand. Sarita ma'am.
Hello, sir. It was such a wonderful session. Every bit of it was informative and enjoyable. Thank you so much. I'm Sarita, faculty coordinator of ST College, Alappuzha. I'm actually not related to advertising or the visual media, but one thing struck me, that everything that you said about the visual media, the way to present images, everything is about, grabbing and manipulating attention. So this attention theories have got a lot to do with
Yes.
advertising nowadays. Could you
Yes.
just give your comments on attention
Yes.
as a commodity?
Yes, exactly. Yes, I read an article sometime back that says a person unconsciously comes across 3,000 images per day, 3,000 new images per day. So that is the crowd of images that we unconsciously encounter on a daily basis. So when so much of images are doing their work in our subconscious mind, how to bring focus to a particular brand or particular with an intention, or maybe a brand, or for communication, how to bring focus on it. So that is where creativity lies. That is where all the theories, so many theories are brought together, so many visual languages are brought together, stitched together, clubbed together, and given out in a most powerful way, which will outstand the rest of the images that we unconsciously see on a daily basis. I hope.
Okay, sir. I got the point. Thank you so much. And I think when you think of a strategy to market something, the context matters a lot.
Yes.
Every time you have to read an advertisement in comparison to the images you normally see everywhere. So
Yes.
if those normal unconscious images you mentioned were not there, this advertisement wouldn't be striking. So the context is very, very important when it comes to advertising, I guess.
Definitely. And also the mindset of the target consumers, target audience. And I purposefully did not go into the psychology part of it, otherwise it will become too lengthy. That is the consumer psychology, the mindset of the people, and the mindset of various sections of people. So all those things are another topic in itself. So I didn't purposefully cover that. I just wanted to communicate how visuals can be manipulated, or manipulation is not a good word, how visuals can be brought together, stitched together, and given or made to represent a message.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, I hope someday I'll get to hear a lecture about the psychology part of it from you.
Yes.
Because it seems it matters in all sorts of fields, including education. Even a teacher needs to know all this if she's to grab attention.
Yes. So consumer psychology actually starts with the Gestalt psychology. And then clubbing of Gestalt psychology with consumer psychology probably would be the crux of the matter that I think you have in mind. Probably some other day.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions? So I think no. So now let's move forward. Now I invite Mr. Ramsi Menon, Director, PRCI YCC, Kerala State, to address this gathering.
Thank you, Gayatri. Respected Dr. Krishna Kumar, Dr. Dinesh Babu, HOD, and our PRCA National President, Dr. Vinay Kumar, and today's speaker, Mr. Vinod Lakshman, and faculty coordinator of Amruta YCC, Rekha Ma'am, and Mr. Hari, and the president of Amruta YCC, Sudarsh, and all the faculty members, rather faculty coordinators of various YCC chapters, and YCC members joined from all over Kerala, and all the other students of Amruta College. Vinod sir, brilliant and beautiful. I can only use these two words. I started my career in advertising. In fact, incidentally, my first training was with Mr. Dr. Vinay Kumar. It was actually my first training in advertising, my basic training actually. So, and we all started in the pre-internet time. So when I walk into a second ad agency after my basic training, the first person whom I met in my agency is the art director. So he had on his table, there was a book. So I casually browse through a book. And when I saw your designs, it all came into my mind. So I asked him, what is this? So this is the Bible of an artist. This is called the Black Book for us. And he keep it in such a way that it's such a very pricey this thing. He never asks anybody to take it. Whoever wants to refer pictures, images, he'll say, you come to my cabin, look at it, and then whatever reference you need to go. Don't take it. I will not give you. Of course, I think those times also it was very, very expensive. And maybe I had to take him for a coffee and all. Then he allowed me to spend more time. So it all these memories just got refreshed now. And of course, I left advertising after 4 to 5 years and then went into marketing and sales. Okay, there also all this, I think, basically applied kind of things were there. And then I got into advertising 26 years back. Of course, then I think designs were some other sort, to play. But then attending your session, I think it's given me, I think my whatever little design aptitude I have, it all got, I think, got refreshed. So I think that's one takeaway for me in this from this program. And each time, especially when you're talking about all those ads, actually. And I'm happy to see Chitrabhanu sir here. That's something which made me very happy. It was a pleasant surprise. And good that, sir is here. Someone who actually mentored a lot of students' life and the future also. Happy that you joined, sir. Thank you. So I'm sure this is a very good program. I think it is it's recorded. So any of the YCC members and the faculty coordinators who missed it, actually, please contact Rekha ma'am. Rekha ma'am can probably give you a copy of the recording. And I think this is something like I would say Vinod sir's today's talk is actually a kind of a reference material, totally a reference material, which you probably will not get from anywhere. Whether you go to a library, you go to any kind of a site or portal, you will not get it, because like Chitrabhanu sir said, okay, the applied art of a different nature, I would say. And congratulate Rekha ma'am and her YCC team led by Sudash for organizing this wonderful program. And I'm so glad because I think all of them are attending the second program of the day, because they had a program of Mercy College YCC at 4:30. And we ended up to 6 and then 7 this program. But then Vinod sir's, I would say that colorful visual presentation made all of us, sit erect and then, okay, listen, okay, what is this? Okay, each time. And it also worked our brain. I think that is what Hari sir had said. I think he came up with the last visual for the Sony. I think so. He worked us and refreshed his memory and then came back with this point there. So it's very interesting to listen to you, sir. I'm sure. I think already Sarita ma'am of SD College have already said, I think we need more talks from you. And I think even though for colleges who doesn't have a visual arts as a subject, it's something, it's very simple. I think everybody, even a layman, need to know something about this, because after all, it is a visual. So, and incidentally, what happened, I also, I volunteer for National Institute of Speech and Hearing in Trivandrum. So there also, sometimes this kind of programs come. And there I find, people who probably can't hear and talk have come out with brilliant interpretations of this visual programs. So that's also a learning. I learned it from them even, how probably can appreciate and or probably interpret a visual art. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving YCC your time. And we are thankful to you so much. And congratulations. Rekha ma'am, thank you. I'm glad that at least 85 to 90, close to 100 students, audience is here. So on a 7 o'clock program, that is really, really good. And congratulations. And Gayatri, you have done a good job.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Keep giving opportunities like this. And also my congrats is that he has been calling everyone, reminding everyone. I think it's a total teamwork of the YCC. And also I thank Dr. Krishna Kumar. I always look up to him from ever since 2003. That's the first time I met him in 2003. For giving me an opportunity to start a YCC in Amrita. And thank you, Rega ma'am, for giving me an opportunity today to share my thoughts. Wishing you all the very best. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I invite Ms. Shivadatta, Executive Member of PRCI, YCC Chapter, Amrita School of Arts and Science, Kochi, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Om Namah Shivaya. A very good evening to all the respected dignitaries and guests present here. It is my honor to be proposing the vote of thanks on this delightful occasion. First of all, on behalf of the entire team of YCC at Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, Kochi, I would like to thank the Public Relations Council of India for giving us this wonderful opportunity. I would like to offer my thanks to Dr. U. Krishnakumar sir, our director, for his unending support and inspiration. Thank you, sir, for taking time out of your busy schedule and being here with us. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Sri Vinod Lakshman sir, an artist, a content writer, and advertising and designing consultant, and also an assistant professor at Amrita School of Arts and Sciences. We are very thankful for you for sharing your precious information with us on this enlightening session. I'm sure a lot of us have learned a lot from this session. It is my great honor to thank Dr. T. Vinay Kumar, the National President of PRCI, for giving his wonderful thoughts and sharing his wonderful thoughts with us. I would like to also express my deep gratitude to Mr. Ram C. Menon, the Director of YCC Kerala, for his insightful words. We are always grateful for your encouragement. I would also like to...
Thank you, Shivadatta.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank Mr. Chitrabhanu sir, the senior most person in this field, for gracing us with his presence here. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Dr. S. Dinesh Babu sir, the HOD of the Department of Visual Media and Communication, for giving the welcome address as well as being a source of motivation for us all. I take this moment to thank Hari Krishnan sir, the department chairperson, and Rekha ma'am, the faculty coordinator of YCC, for always being a source of guidance for us. I also take this moment to thank all the staff members of Visual Media Department for being a valuable support. I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to all the faculty members and YCC members who have attended this event from all the other campuses. I'm also immensely thankful to the entire team of YCC for organizing and smoothly coordinating this program. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone in this audience for attending this event and making it a success. Thank you.
Thank you,
I also
Shivadatta.
extend my thanks to my friend who has attended the whole program, Mr. Raj of Impress Ads. We are good friends, and he runs an advertising agency. He runs a social internet advertising agency, completely focusing on internet advertising. So he has also attended. I just saw his name now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, again, for Sanju sir, the CTS Department of Amrita School of Arts and Sciences, for this late night schedule of our program. Sanju sir, very thank you for you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So it's time to officially conclude this session with a Shanti Mantra.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।